Hello guys, so welcome back to the Open Systems for Web Technologies course. In previous class we are talking about the different types of databases, right? So in previous class we are talking about the what is database. So we are talking about the database. So we are talking about the database. What is database? Database means what? We are collecting the different kinds of data and we are storing that particular information. Okay, we are storing that particular information in a some place, and we are saying that is called the database, or we are saying that particular storing device is called the database, right? So that is what we are talking in a previous class. In this particular previous class, and also we are talking about the one particular database. We are having the different types of database softwares are there. Okay, we are having the different types of database softwares are there. In all those different types of database softwares, we are talking only the one database, that is the MySQL database. That is a MySQL database. So why we are talking about the MySQL database? So because this MySQL database is a open source. Because this particular MySQL database is a open source, and our course also is nothing but it is a open systems for web technology. So here we are purely talking about the open sources, right? So that's why we are talking about the MySQL database there. And next, after there we are talking about the MySQL database. Next, what we are talking there, in that particular database we are creating the database users. We are creating the users with the help of the create query. With the help of the create query, what we are doing there, we are creating a number of users in that particular database. Okay, so we are having the database software is there. What that particular database software, we are using the MySQL. MySQL is our database software. With the help of this particular MySQL, what we are doing, so we are manipulating the data in an organization. Clear? So for that what we are doing here, so for that we are creating the different types of users. We are creating the different types of users. We are creating the super user. So we are creating the super user and we are creating the normal user. Okay, we are creating the super users and we are creating the normal user. After users creation is done, so what we are doing there, after that we are giving some permissions, and we are giving some permissions to the user. Okay, we are giving some permissions to the user. So with the help of the DBA, what we are doing there, with the help of the DBA, we are giving the permissions to the users. After that what we are doing, we are revoking all those permissions from the user. First we are giving some permissions to the user. Those permissions are nothing but read permission, write permission. After that we are giving the create permission. Okay, table creation. After that we are giving table deletion permission, update permission, insert permission. All these we are talking in a previous lecture. Okay, all these we are talking in a previous lecture. Once you are assigning all these permissions to the particular user, if you are not satisfied with that particular user, so what you will do, you are revoking that particular permissions from the user. First you are assigning the permissions to the user. After that what you are doing, you are revoking or you are rollbacking all your permissions from the user. Clear? So that is what we are talking in a previous lecture. With the help of all this user creation, so what we are doing there, so we are manipulating the data. So first we are creating the users, and there we are defining the user. This particular user belongs to the super user, and this particular user belongs to the normal users, and this particular users or the database administrator. Like that what we are doing, like that we are categorizing the users. Okay, like that we are categorizing the user. After that we are inserting the data. First we are creating a table. After creation of the table is over, we are inserting some information into that particular table, right? With the help of the insert query, select query, or update query, delete query, all queries we are using. With the help of all these queries, we are manipulating the data in a database. And also we see in the, so we are having the one user is and one user accessing the other user's data. Okay, one user accessing the other user's data, and other user accessing the user 2 is accessing the table 1 data or user 1 information. All these things we seen in a previous chapter. In MySQL chapter we seen all these things. Now at present we are going to talk about the PHP. We are going to talk about the PHP, that is a third unit. So in this particular third unit we are talking about the scripting language, that is a PHP. Open sources are there. Okay, we are talking about the different types of open sources. We are talking about the open source operating system in first chapter. We are talking about the open source operating system. After that we are talking about the open source databases. Okay, we are talking about the open source databases. In third chapter, we are talking about the open source scripting language. Okay, what are the required for our web technologies, that we are talking here. So for that we are talking about the open source. So PHP is our scripting language for developing the web content. For developing the web content, what we are doing here, so we are taking the help of the PHP scripting language. With the help of this particular PHP scripting language, we are developing the dynamic websites here. Okay, we are developing the dynamic websites. Now first chapter is, first you will learn what is the server-side scripting language. You will able to understand what is the server-side scripting language. After that, you will able to understand what is the procedure or how this particular PHP is processing the content in a web server. Clear? So how that particular PHP is processing the content in a web server. After that, at the end of this particular chapter, so you will be able to design and develop the dynamic websites. Clear? Okay, first we'll see the what are the software requirements this particular PHP, then only we'll start our chapter introduction. So in this particular chapter, for developing this particular PHP, so for developing the dynamic website, we are taking the help of the PHP language, right? For that you require some software. So here I'm dividing this particular softwares into the two categories. Is the editors and second one is the execution or output. For compiling your PHP, what are the softwares you require? Okay, so first here I'm having the editors. So here editors, you can use the Notepad++, you can use the Notepad++, or you can use the NetBeans IDE. Clear? You can use the any editor here. You can use the Notepad++ or you can use the NetBeans IDE. Next what we are doing here, next we are compiling and we are executing that particular PHP scripts, right? We are executing for particular PHP scripts. For that you required one server. Okay, for that you required one server. So this particular PHP is a server-side scripting language, right? PHP is a server-side scripting language. In this particular server-side scripting language means what? Whatever you are writing that particular content will be executed inside your server machine only. That's why we are saying that particular scripting is called the server-side scripting language. If you are writing one script, that particular script is executing inside the server machine, then we can say that particular scripting is called the server-side scripting language. Clear? That scripting is called the server-side scripting language. If you want to execute that particular server-side scripting language, you required one server. Okay, you required one server. With the help of that particular server only, you are able to execute that particular script. Clear? So for that you require the XAMPP server. So in this particular XAMPP server, you will have all your database software is there, or database server also available in this particular XAMPP server. This particular XAMPP server, you will get MySQL software or MySQL server you will get here. After that you will get the Apache software also. Apache software for the PHP module. Clear? So in this particular XAMPP server, you will get the MySQL server for connecting to the database and for manipulating the database. For that you will get the MySQL server. After that you will get the Apache server for the PHP module. For monitoring or for maintaining that particular PHP, you require some server, right? So for that we are using the Apache. For that we are using the Apache server here. So in your Apache server, we are having the PHP module. Okay, we are having the PHP module. That particular PHP module is maintained by the Apache web server. Clear? That Apache web server is maintained in the. So whatever you are sending the information to the server, this particular PHP module will take that particular information and it will process that particular information and it will send back to your client machine. It will send back to your client machine. So here the XAMPP server will vary from one operating system to another operating or one platform to another platform. So here this latest version is the XAMPP server. For latest version is the XAMPP server. So here XAMPP means what? X is nothing but your operating system. It mentions that it says that X is nothing but the operating system. That operating system may be the Windows operating system, Linux flavors, or you can use the Macintosh operating system. Okay, but the executable file will vary from one operating system to another operating system or one platform to another platform. X represents that particular operating system, and next one A represents the Apache. A nothing but the Apache server. M represents the MySQL server, and here P represents the PHP Perl languages. Okay, PHP and Perl languages. All these all these four softwares are embedded or integrated in this particular XAMPP server. Similar to the XAMPP server, we are having the different types of servers are there. Different types of servers are there. So in that, LAMP is a one other software. Okay, LAMP is a other software. So here L represents the Linux operating system or Linux platform. L represents the Linux platform, and AMP or nothing but your Apache, MySQL and PHP. Okay, Apache, MySQL and PHP. For Windows or for other operating system, we are having the one more software is nothing but that is the WAMP server. Okay, so that is a WAMP server. So here W represents the Windows operating system. W represents the Windows operating system. A represents Apache. M represents the MySQL and P represents the PHP or per language. Clear? PHP or per language. Okay, now we'll quickly dive into our syllabus. So now what we are talking in this particular chapter, and all those things we'll see here. Now we'll quickly dive into our syllabus. This particular chapter we are talking about the introduction about the PHP. We are talking about the introduction about the PHP. After that we are talking about the basics of the PHP. After that we are talking about the functions of the PHP. We are having the different types of functions are there. All those things we'll talk in this particular chapter. Next we'll talking about the error handling. If you are getting the error, how you are going to handle with the help of the PHP. Clear? That we are talking here. So next, interaction between the PHP and MySQL. Okay, how you are interacting with your database and how you are communicating to your database, or how you are manipulating the data in that particular MySQL database with the help of the PHP. That we'll see here. After that, PHP manipulations, or nothing but we are doing some updation, deletion, all those things we are doing, and we are saying that is called the PHP manipulations. Okay, so that is what we are talking in this particular chapter. Now first we'll talk about the introduction part. So here, PHP is a server-side scripting language. So PHP is a server-side scripting language designed specifically for the website. Okay, so PHP is a server-side scripting language. So server-side scripting language means what? That particular script runs inside your server. That particular script runs inside your server. Without server, we cannot execute that particular script. Without server, we cannot execute that particular script. That's why we are saying that particular script or our PHP script is a server-side scripting language. Okay, if you are executing your script inside the client machine, or if you are executing that particular script inside your local machine, and we are saying that is called the client-side scripting language. For example, you take your login form is there, or you take your registration page is there. In that particular registration page, what you are doing, you are validating the entered data is valid or not, or you are checking the mobile number is there. So in that particular mobile number, what you are doing, you are accepting only the 10 numerical digits. You are accepting only the 10 numerical digits there, right? So for that, what you are doing, for that you are writing one JavaScript, and you are, before entering into your database, first what you are doing here, you are validating that particular registration page inside your client machine. You are validating that particular registration page inside your client machine with the help of the JavaScript. Clear? You are validating that particular registration page inside your client machine before you are entering into the database. That particular scripting language is called the client-side scripting language, or we can say that. So if you are validating your form, or you are executing that particular script inside your client machine, that particular scripting language is called the client-side scripting language. If you are executing that particular same script in your server machine, and we are saying that particular script is called the server-side scripting language. Okay, that is the difference between the server-side scripting language and the client-side scripting language. Okay, so here our PHP is a server-side scripting language. PHP is a server-side scripting language. Whatever you are sending the information to the PHP, or if you want execute any content through that particular PHP, it will go to the server and it will execute, or it will process that particular information, and it will give some reply back to the client machine. Clear? Means what? That processing everything will be executed inside the server machine only. That's why the PHP is a server-side scripting language, and it is used for the development of the web. Okay, and it is widely using for the development of the websites. Development of the websites. Next, this particular PHP language, we can embed this particular PHP scripts inside our HTML. Okay, so first what you are writing here, so first you are writing one PHP script, right? If you want to write this particular PHP script, so what we are doing here is we are embedding this particular PHP scriptlets, or we are embedding this particular PHP code inside our HTML pages. Inside our HTML pages, or we can say that inside our HTML page, if you want to interact with your server and that information should be displayed on your page, so for that what we are doing, so for that we are using one server-side scripting language, right? That particular code, that particular server-side scripting language code, we can embed that particular server-side code in our HTML page. Okay, or we can say that in our HTML tags, we can embed the PHP code and we can get the output from the server. We can embed the PHP code inside your HTML page and we can get that particular server information and we can display that particular information in our web browser or in our web pages. So next, so your PHP code is interpreted. Your PHP code is interpreted. Here we are not talking about the compilation. We are interpreting that particular PHP code. Okay, we are interpreting the PHP code at web server and generates the HTML code or as a output to the visitors. Okay, so what we are talking here is your PHP code is there, right? You are writing some PHP code and what you are doing, you are interpreting. Okay, we are interpreting that particular PHP code and we are getting the PHP code output and we are forming into the HTML and we are forwarding that particular information to the requested client, or we are displaying that particular information in a web browser. Clear? We are displaying that particular information in a web browser. Means what we are talking here is we are having the PHP script is there. Now what we are doing here, with the help of the PHP module, we are interpreting that particular PHP code. After interpretation is over, we are getting the output, right? We are taking that particular output and we are displaying that particular output in a web browser with the help of the HTML. Your web browser will understand only the HTML language. That's why we are constructing that particular output in a HTML and we are displaying that particular output in our web browser. So next one, how this particular PHP generates the HTML pages, how this particular PHP works, that we'll see here. So we are having the client mission here, or we can say this is a client browser. So we are opening the client mission and what we are doing, we are typing some request and we are forwarding the request to the server mission, right? So here also same. So here we are having the client mission. We are opening that particular PHP page. We are opening that particular PHP page and you are getting that particular PHP page output, right? How you are getting that particular PHP output there? So first it will send one request to the server. What is our server? Our server is a Apache, right? Our server is Apache server, or we can say that for generating the web pages, we are having the three components, or we are having the three places. So first one is a web browser. After that we are having the Apache. After that we are having the controller after that we are having the PHP module is there. Or you can map this particular architecture with your MVC model. You can map this particular thing with your MVC model. Okay, you can map all these things with your MVC model. Means what here? So how your PHP generates the output. So here this particular PHP follows the MVC architecture, or it maps with the MVC architecture. So what is that particular MVC architecture? So here we are having the model. So in MVC architecture we are having the presentation layer. So that is nothing but the view. After that we are having the model. So in this particular model we are talking about the database. In our language we are talking about the database, and controller is there. So controller means what? We are controlling that particular pages, or we are controlling the information between the pages, right? So here your browser is nothing but here we are having the pages, right? And it will act as a presentation layer. It acts as a presentation layer, nothing but it is called the view. Clear? Now what we are doing here, now we are communicating to the PHP module. Right? So where that particular PHP module is available, inside our server mission. That particular PHP module is available inside our server mission. What is our server name? Our server name is a Apache. Clear? Our server name is the Apache. Inside that particular server, we are maintaining the PHP. Inside our server, we are maintaining the PHP module. So here, and also if you want to communicate with the database, where we are communicating through this particular Apache server only. Okay, we are communicating to the database through this particular Apache server only. Means where your controllers are available, in this particular PHP module. Clear? Your controllers are available in this particular PHP module. So your PHP page will come to here through your web server or through your Apache server. It will come to here and it will process that particular PHP page. It will process that particular PHP page. If there is any control statements or if there is any connections or information is required, it will send that particular information to the Apache server. Through Apache, we are communicating to the database. We are communicating to the MySQL part. Clear? Means what here? This particular PHP module will act as a controller. This particular PHP module will act as a controller and this particular Apache will act as a model. This particular Apache will act as a model. Then we can say that this follows the MVC architecture. Means what here? It separates the business logic and the presentation logic. So this is our presentation and here we are talking about the logic. We are talking about the business logic here. Means what here? Your MVC architecture separates the business logic and your presentation logic. Okay, your presentation logic, it separates the business and your presentation logic. Okay, now your client browser or your client mission sends one you are opening PHP page, and how that particular PHP is getting the output here, why we are displaying that particular information, or you can take your facebook.com is there. So facebook.com also using the PHP. Okay, Facebook also using the PHP. PHP is there. What we are doing, whenever you are typing your username and password, immediately you are getting your home page, right? Immediately you are opening your home page. There, how you are getting that particular home page, there we are doing some validation. Okay, that is another part. So first whatever you are typing there, that particular information is going to a server and it will validate that particular information and it will give some response back in the form of the HTML. Okay, in the form of the HTML. First you are opening or you are sending one request to the client server mission. It will take that particular information and it will process that particular information to the PHP module, or it will map that particular information to the PHP module. After that, PHP module will process that particular information and it will send back to the client mission through the server, through the Apache server. Clear? Now we'll see in detail. So first what we are doing here, so your client sends a one request to the server through HTTP protocol. Or we can say with the help of the HTTP request, what we are doing here, we are sending one request to the server mission with the help of the HTTP request. So in this particular HTTP request, what method we are using? We are having the two methods are there. First one is a post method and second one is a get method. Okay, first one is a post method, second one is a get method. With the help of the get and post method, we are sending that information to the server mission. Server will take that particular information and it will process the particular information and it will give some reply back. Clear? So what your Apache is doing, so first we are sending some request to the server mission. So what is our server here? Here our server is a Apache. Our server name is Apache. What this particular Apache does here, this particular Apache takes that particular client information, it recognizes whether that particular request contains a PHP code or any other thing. If it contains a PHP code, directly it will map to the PHP module. Okay, if it contains the PHP code, directly it will map to the PHP module. That processing done by we are doing that particular processing in this particular Apache module, Apache server. What this particular Apache doing here is, it's take that particular request, it verifies whether it is a PHP script or not. If it is a PHP script, it will map to the PHP module. It will map to the PHP module, or it will send that request to the PHP module. Okay, now PHP, what this particular PHP is doing here is, the PHP is a interpreter, it executes the PHP script. The PHP module contains the PHP interpreter, right? It executes that PHP code or it executes that PHP script and collects the PHP output. It collects the PHP output and it sends back. What this particular PHP module is doing here is the PHP module takes that PHP code or that particular PHP script and it will collect that information and it will process. After that processing is over, it will execute that particular PHP script. Once the execution is done, it will send that particular output back to the requested client. How it is sending that particular output back to the requested client? With the help of the HTTP, with the help of the HTML or with the help of the HTML. Clear? So to where this particular PHP sending reply back, so first it will send to that particular information to the client server machine. The server will take that particular information and it will give some reply back to the client machine using this particular PHP script output as an HTML file. Clear? On as an HTML file or as an HTML output. What finally what I'm trying to say here is your client machine is there. So we are sending one request to that particular server machine. So what is our server? Our server is a Apache. Our server machine is Apache. Apache takes that particular request and it will validates whether it is contains the PHP script or not. If contains the PHP script, it will send the request to the PHP module. It will send some request to the PHP module. What that particular PHP module is doing, that particular PHP module takes that particular request and it will process and it will interpret and it will generate the PHP output, PHP script output or PHP script as an output. Okay, and it will send back to the Apache server. It will send back to the Apache server. Apache server will take that particular output and it will construct in the form of the HTML and it will send back to the requested client. This is about the PHP processing in our Apache server. Okay, that is about the PHP processing. So here only we are generating the dynamic content in our website. PHP. So what is this particular PHP? PHP means what? PHP is nothing but, or we can say this PHP stands for Hypertext Preprocessor. PHP stands for Hypertext Preprocessor. What is the first version of this particular PHP? The first version of this particular PHP name is a personal homepage. Personal homepage. Okay, so personal homepage. This particular PHP is developed by Apache software team. This PHP is developed by Apache software team. So that particular team is developing this particular PHP. Okay, that particular team is developing this particular PHP and the first name of this particular PHP is a personal homepage. Later they changed to the hypertext preprocessing. Okay, hypertext preprocessing as a PHP expansion here. Okay, so next one is what is this particular PHP? PHP means this particular PHP is a open source scripting language or widely we are using in open source. Okay, this particular PHP is a open source scripting language. Open source scripting language means what? Everything is available free of cost. Just we are downloading and we are using that particular software. Okay, we are using that particular software without any cost. Clear? Without any cost we are downloading and we are using, or we can say it is a free of cost. So and we are saying those type of softwares are called open source softwares. Okay, so it is a open source. So next one, it is freely available and we can use that particular software. So here these PHP scripts are executed on a server. These PHP scripts are executed on server and this PHP script can contain the or this PHP script can contain text information, it contains the HTML information and it contains the JavaScript and PHP code, or we can say that this particular PHP file contains HTML code, it contains the entire HTML code, it contains the PHP code or nothing but your scriptlets. Okay, so next we can use the JavaScript and also we can use the CSS also in this particular PHP file. Okay, we can use only PHP pure code or we can use a Java code, not Java, we can use a JavaScript, we can use a HTML code, we can use a CSS code. We can mix all these together and we can run that particular page inside the server machine in your PHP file. Okay, this particular PHP file is saved with the extension for this particular PHP page is .php. You can save that particular PHP with .php. Then only we can say that particular page is a PHP page. Okay, and this particular PHP page executed on the server machine, and the result is returned back to the web browser as a plain HTML text. Now only we see in this particular thing. Okay, now this particular files are saved with the .php extension. We are saying this particular files .php extension is the .php. In that particular .php file, you can contain or you can maintain the HTML code, you can maintain the text information. Okay, you can have the JavaScript, you can have the CSS code also. Why we are using the CSS code? For providing the styles for our website, we are using the CSS code. Clear? So we can use all these things in our PHP file. Now what this particular PHP can do? Okay, with the help of this particular PHP, we can generate the dynamic web pages. And we can create, read, close, delete, all those operations we can do. We can create a page, we can delete a page, or we can communicate. PHP can create, delete, read, close, and open file on the server. Okay, inside the server, we can read the file, we can delete the file, we can create the file. Okay, we can write the file. All those things, all those operations we can do inside the server. So, okay, next one is PHP can collect the user information with the help of the form tag or with the help of the user form. We can collect the data from the user, or we can collect the data using the form tag. So next, PHP can send and receive the cookies. PHP can send the cookies and it can receive the cookies. So next one is a security. PHP can send and receive the cookies. Next, PHP can add and delete and modify the data in a database. So next one is a security. So PHP can encrypt the data and it can forward the data to the destination location. PHP can encrypt the data and it will forward the data to the destination location. Means what we are talking here is here. So PHP can generate dynamic web pages. PHP can generate dynamic web pages, and PHP can read, write, open the file and close the file, can delete the file. All those file operations can be done inside the server. We can do all those operations inside the server, and also we can collect the data from the user, or we can collect the data using the form tag, or we can collect the data from the form elements. Okay, so next what we are doing here, so PHP can send and receive the information with the help of the cookies. PHP can send the data and it can receive the data with the help of the cookies. Okay, and also it can manipulate the data in a database. It can manipulate the data in a database means what? We can add the data, we can delete the data, we can modify the data. All those operations we can do in a database. Okay, and also if you want to encrypt that particular data, you can encrypt the data and you can forward that particular data to the user with the help of this particular PHP. We can encode the data, or we can encrypt the data, or we can say in a security parameter. So what we are doing, we are securing our data, or we are encrypting the data, and we are forwarding that particular information to the destination location. That encoding and decoding also we can do with the help of the PHP. So next one is the advantage of this particular PHP. So we are having the various advantages are there. So we'll see some advantages here. Mainly, particular PHP is a open source scripting language. PHP is a open source scripting language. It is freely available. We can download that particular script and we can use that particular script in our machines. Okay, it is freely available. You can download that particular PHP module and you can integrate that particular PHP module in your server machine and you can use that particular PHP. Okay, so means what here? This particular PHP is a open source scripting language. PHP is a open source scripting language. So next one is it is easy to use. One more thing you have to remember, compared to all other scripting languages or compared to all other languages, it is easy to learn and easy to use. PHP is easy to learn and easy to use. Compatible means what? At present situation, we are getting the lot of servers. We are getting some lot of new servers or lot of new features are available. Okay, you can or we can say that this particular PHP we can integrate in this particular updated servers also. We can integrate this particular PHP in our updated server or upgraded server, all any other new servers are there. Our PHP is fully fit for that particular server, or this particular PHP is designed to fit all other servers or upgraded servers also. Supports the many databases. Your PHP supports many databases. PHP supports many databases. So not only the MySQL database, it supports all other databases, whatever the database is available at present. So it supports all databases. Maximum it supports all databases. So next one is it gives web developers more control. It gives the web developers more control. Means what here? Very secure language. Okay. So some encryption algorithms are there. Inbuilt encryption algorithms are there. So with the help of that particular inbuilt encryption algorithms, we can encrypt our data and we can secure our data with the help of this particular encryption algorithms. Okay. So those are the advantages of our PHP language, or those are the advantages of our PHP scripting. Clear? So what are the first advantage? It is open source. It is freely available. We can download that particular module and we can use that particular module. Next one is it is easy to use and easy to learn. Okay, it is easy to use and easy to learn. Next one is easy integration and compatibility. Easy integration and compatibility. Compatibility means what? If you are having the new server, we can integrate that particular PHP module in that particular server, or this particular PHP module is support for the all servers. Not only the server, not only the web servers, and also it is compatible for the databases also. It is compatible for more databases, and it gives a more flexibility for the web developers. It gives a more flexibility for the web developers. And last one is a security. Last one is a security. In this particular PHP module or in this particular PHP, we are having the inbuilt security algorithms are there, inbuilt encryption algorithms are there. With the help of that particular encryption algorithms, we can secure our data. Okay, we can secure our data, and these are the advantages of our PHP scripting language. Okay, next we'll dive into. So next we'll see the why PHP. Why we are talking about the PHP? So because it can run in multi platforms, or we can run the PHP scripting language in all other platforms. All other platforms, or this particular PHP language supports the all platforms. For example, take your .NET framework is there. That particular .NET framework, it will only compatible for the Windows operating system. Okay, it is not compatible for the Macintosh operating system, and also it is not compatible for the Linux operating system. Clear? Clear. That is also that is about the .NET framework. But you take your PHP modules. This PHP module will support the all other operating system. It supports the all operating system. Macintosh operating system it supports. Windows operating system it supports, and Linux operating system also it supports. Okay, that's why we are saying it is a multi-platform. Next one is it is compatible with all servers. Now only we are seeing this particular PHP module, it is compatible for the all servers, not only for Apache, and also not only for Apache and Tomcat. It is also compatible for all other softwares, all other database softwares, all other your web servers. So next one is it's all other web servers. Next, it is easy to learn and runs efficiently on the server. For example, we are talking about the JSP is there. So in particular JSP pages, in particular JSP technology, what we are doing there, we have to write that particular code. Once the code is okay, what we have to do, we have to execute that particular code, or we have to compile that particular code. If we are having any errors, what we are doing there, again we are solve that particular errors, and we have to compile, and then we have to go to the server. There we have to see the output of that particular JSP pages, right? But here what we are doing here is just we are writing the script, and your server will take care about that particular interpretation. It will interpret that particular PHP script, and it will generate the output there. Okay, so next see the basics of PHP. So in this particular basics of PHP, so first what we are doing here is we are creating one sample PHP page. You save your PHP page like one.php, your file name .php, your extension is a p.php. Okay, you have to save your file .php. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm writing one HTML code. Inside that HTML code, I'm embedding my PHP code there, or I'm embedding my PHP script there. So first you write your HTML tag, after that head tag. Already you know the HTML basics. So in your body tag, you have to write your PHP script inside your body tag. So here what I'm doing, I'm displaying the hello world message. For that I'm using the echo. For printing the output on your server machine or printing the output on your web browser, we are using the echo. With the help of the echo, I'm printing that information. And one more thing you have to remember here, for writing this particular PHP, you have to use the PHP open scriptlet. Okay, PHP open scriptlet, and this is a PHP close scriptlet. Or we can say, for writing the PHP script, you have to open your script, open bracket, open angular bracket, question mark, and PHP. After that, you write all your script here. After that, you close your script with the help of the question mark and closing angular bracket. The help of the question mark and closing angular bracket, you have to close your PHP script. So here only you have to write your PHP script. If you want to write your PHP script, you have to open your PHP tag and close your PHP tag. Between that open tag and close tag only you have to write your PHP script. After that, you close your body tag and close your HTML tag. Okay, so next we'll see what are the variables, how to write this particular PHP script. So there we'll talk one by one in detail. So first we'll see the variables concept here. Variable concept. So variables means what here? So here in PHP, the variables starts with the dollar symbol. The variables are, if you are in, or for example, so in our Java language, how we are writing the variable? Int a equal to 10. Okay, int a equal to 10, or double b equal to some 1.20 something we are writing here, right? So that is called here a is a variable. Before that we are writing the data type. Before that we are writing the what type of data you are using there. That information we are writing here. So but in our PHP language or in our PHP script, before, if you want to use the variable, first what you have to write? First you have to write the dollar symbol. First you have to write the dollar symbol. After that you start writing your variable name. After that you start writing your variable name. So what is the next one? No need to declare that type of the variable. Okay, so here in our Java language, in other languages, what we are doing there? So there we are defining, or we are declaring the data type. We are declaring the data type. In our PHP, you no need to declare the data type there. You no need to declare the data type. You just write your dollar symbol. After that, write your variable name. You first write your dollar symbol and write your variable name. And for writing that particular variable, we are following some rules. In our PHP, we are having some rules are there. What are the first rule? So first one is your variable name starts with the dollar sign. First one is your variable name starts with the dollar sign. Okay, that is fine. So next, a variable name must start with a letter or a underscore character. So you have to remember here, your variable name starts with the dollar sign. So next, starts with the dollar sign. Your variable name, first letter should be a character or underscore symbol. First letter should be a character, or first we are writing the dollar symbol. After that, your variable name starts with one character, capital letter or small letter or underscore symbol. It starts with underscore symbol or capital letter symbol or small letter symbol. Next, what you have to write? After that, you write your variable name. Or your variable name starts with the capital letter or small letter, that should be a alphabet, not numerical value. Only the alphabet, not numerical value. Or you can start with your variable name with the help of the underscore. With the help of the underscore, and your variable name should not start with the number. You should not start with the number. First letter should be a alphabet or underscore symbol. Alphabet or underscore symbol. You should not start with the. You should not start with your variable name with number or with number. So next one is your variable name can contains the mixing of the alphabets and numbers. Alphabets, numbers, or underscore symbol like this. Okay. So or one variable name should not start with the one alphabet A. This is wrong, and these are the correct methods or correct procedure for writing the variable name. That you have to remember. Only one thing you have to remember here. Your variable name starts with the dollar symbol. After that, the first letter should be your alphabet or underscore, not your numerical value. That you have to remember here. And one more thing here is in your variable, if you are writing your variable there, right? For example, your variable name is a Amber. A-M-B-E-R, Amber. All letters should be a small letters, or all letters should be a capital letter. All letters should be a capital letter. One letter small letter and one letter capital letter. This is not acceptable in our PHP. It's a case sensitive. If you want to write all letters should be in a capital letter, or if you want to write all letters should be in a small letters. You should not write the capital letter and small letter. Clear? See, these are the rules of your PHP for writing the variable in our PHP scripting language. So next, now we'll see one small example here. So here what we are writing here, we are writing the HTML code. Inside that HTML code, we are embedding our PHP script. So first I am writing the text $txt equal hello world. $txt equal to hello world. After that I am taking the one more variable there and I am assigning some value 5. After that I am taking the another variable, I am assigning the value 10.5. So first one is some characters, or we can say this is a string data type. Next one I am taking the number, integer data type. Next one may be the float or double. Yeah, float or double I am taking. After that what I am doing here, with the help of the echo statement I am printing all those values here. With the help of the echo statement I am printing that particular output on my screen. I am printing that with the help of the echo statement. I am printing the output on the web browser. You can use the HTML tag script also. Here you can use the HTML tag. How to use the HTML tag inside your PHP? You write the echo. After that, give the one single space. In quotations, you write your HTML tag. You write here HTML tag. You write your HTML tag there. Okay, that is acceptable here. Write your HTML tag here. Okay, now we'll see what is output for this particular program or particular example. So this is my output. So first I am displaying the hello world. After that I am displaying some integer value. After that I am displaying some number. That may be the float or double. I am displaying some value there, 10.5. But here what I am doing here I am not mentioning any data type. Simply I am assigning the value. I am displaying that particular value there. So next one is PHP is a loosely typed language. Okay, PHP is a loosely typed language. Why this particular PHP is a loosely typed language? So PHP automatically converts the variable to the correct data type depending on its value. Okay, you have to remember here. So PHP automatically converts the variable to the correct data type depending on its value. For example, you see the previous example here. You see this particular example. In this particular example, we are not defining data type. Okay. In this particular example, we are not defining any data type. And it will assume that, or it will take, or it will convert automatically. It is a string format, and it is a integer data type, and it is a float data type. Automatically it will convert into that particular desired format, and it will display that particular information on a output screen. information in a output screen. And next one is in a strongly typed programming language, we will have to declare or we will have to define the data type there. For example, you take your Java language is there. In that particular Java language, what we have to do, we have to define the data type first. After that, we have to write the variable name. After that, you have to initialize that particular value. So this is called a strongly typed language. Means what here you have to define your data type, but in our PHP scripting language we are not defining the data type. It automatically converts the variable to the correct data type depending on its value. Based on that particular value, if it is an integer, it will convert into the integer data type. It is a string data type, it will convert into the string data type. Automatically it will convert. That conversion is available in this particular PHP scripting language. PHP scripting language. So next one here for printing the output on our browser. So for that we are using the two objects are there. First one is the echo statement and second one is the print statement is there. So way to get the output, we are having the two ways are there. Clear? So first one is with the help of the print statement or with the help of the echo statement we are printing the output. For printing the output we are having the two objects are there. So first one is the print object. So first one is the print object. Second one is the echo object. Second one is the echo object. So which one gives the fast information? Our echo object gives the fast information compared to your print. Echo gives the fast information or it will print the quickly on the web browser. Okay, compared to our print object. Clear? Print object, or we can say that echo has a no return type. Echo has the no return type. It is a no return type method, or we can say it is a no return type. Okay, so next one is the print object is there. With the help of the print object we can print the data, but it will return some value. It will return some value. For that we are using this particular print method. If you are returning some value, so you can use the print method. If you are not returning any value, just you want to flash your output on the screen, for that you can use the echo method or echo statement for printing the output on your screen. What is the difference between the echo statement and the print statement? So next one is the PHP data types. We are having the different types of data is there. So first we'll see the what are the data types are there. So we are having the string data type is there, or integer is there, float is there, boolean, array, object and null. It supports the null value also. Our PHP scripting language, it supports the integer data type, string data type, floating value, and here we are saying that a floating point number is also called as a double. Okay, so here we are having the floating or double, only one option is there. So that is called the float. So we can use the float or we can use the double, but all those things comes under the one category in our PHP scripting language. Okay, and we are having the boolean value. It supports the boolean data type. It supports the array. It supports the object concept also. Your PHP supports the object concept also. Or we can say that particular PHP we can use in two ways. We can use for procedure oriented programming language, and also we can use the object oriented programming language. Or we can say that the particular PHP scripting language supports the procedure oriented programming and also supports the object oriented programming. We can use object oriented or procedure oriented, whatever the convenient to you, you can use all those things here. Okay, and also it supports the null data type, or it supports the null values also. In our PHP we can PHP scripting language supports the null also. So finally this particular PHP supports the string data type, integer data type, floating value. In this particular floating value, double and float values are comes under only the one category. Next one is the boolean values. Next one is the array data. Array also it supports. Object concept also it's supporting, and null values also it is supporting. Okay, so next we'll talk about the PHP variable scope. What is the scope? We are having the different types of scopes are there, right? So here also in our PHP also we are having the different types of scopes are there. So first one is a local scope. Second one is a global scope. Third one is a static, and next one is a parameter. Okay, so we are having the 4 different types of scopes are there. So first one is a local scope, second one is a global, third one is a static, and fourth one is a parameter. Now we'll see the what is this particular local scope. Local scope means what? We are writing one function or we are writing one program, open bracket, within the open bracket and close bracket. So what we are doing there? So first we'll see about the local scope. So what is this particular local scope? Local scope is nothing but a variable declared within a PHP function. A variable is declared within a PHP function. So here we are writing the one PHP function is a, what is my function name here? Test is my function. Okay, test is my function. So in this particular function, I'm having the open bracket and close bracket, or you can say that this is the open bracket and close bracket is there. Within this particular open bracket and close bracket, if you are defining any variable and we are saying that particular variable is global within this particular open bracket and close bracket. Clear? That particular variable is local within this particular open bracket and close bracket. Outside that particular bracket, we cannot access that particular variable. Okay, we cannot access that particular variable. Clear? So here also same here. So here what we are doing here? So first you write your, okay, so first you open your PHP script here, PHP open tag and close tag. Between this open tag and close tag only we have to write our PHP script. So here $a equal to 10, $a equal to 10. So function, I'm writing my function. So my function name is some test. Open bracket and close bracket. So here a equal to some 20. A equal to some 20 here, right? So here what I'm doing here, so here the variable name is a and also here the variable name is a. So here the variable name is a and here also the variable name is a. So here in this particular open bracket and close bracket, this particular variable a is a local variable. In this particular open bracket and close bracket, this particular a is a local variable. Okay, the particular a is a local variable. And you may ask, sir, we are defining this particular a equal to 10 before the function, and why you are saying a is a local variable and it is a global variable, right? It is a global variable. Your doubt is it is a global variable, but you are saying here is a local variable. See, within the open bracket and the closed bracket, if you are defining the variable, right, a equal to 20, so it acts as a local variable between this open bracket and the closed bracket. Between this open bracket and the closed bracket, if you want to use this particular a equal to 10, if you want to use this particular a equal to 10 inside your function as a global variable, what you have to do here is, before your $a, you have to use the global. You have to use the global a. Okay, you have to use the global a. Then only we can say that particular variable a is the global value. Variable a is a global value. If you are not writing, if you are not defining before that particular a global, and it will become a local value only. It will not become a global value. So what I'm trying to saying here is, if you are writing here $a equal to 10, if you are writing here $a equal to 10 and you are using $a equal to 20 here, so this value, this is a global value, right? But here you are saying it is a local value. If you are not define, if you define before your $a, if you define like global $a equal to 10, if you can use that particular a here, then only this particular a will become a global value. Otherwise it will become a local value here. If you are talking about the function, inside the function, if you want to use this particular global value $a inside the function as a global value, so for that what you have to do, before your variable name you have to define a global. You have to define the global, then only that particular variable a will act as a global value. Otherwise it will act as a local value. Okay, otherwise it acts as a local value, and this particular local value scope will be within the open bracket and the closed bracket only. After that we cannot access this particular a value, but we can access this particular a. Clear? We can access this particular a. Okay, so that is about the global and local scope. That is about the global and local scope. That is about the local and global scope. So next, now we seen about global value also. See here, now I am writing here x equal to 5, x equal to 5. Within this particular PHP script, it will act as a global value, right? If you want to use that particular x value as a global value, what you have to do within the function, you have to define the global. You have to define the global x comma y, global. You have to use the global keyword before your variable name. Before your variable name, you have to use the global keyword. Then only it will act as a global. Then only it will act as a global. Now you compute this particular program and now tell me what is the output for this particular program. What is the output for this particular program? What is the output for this particular program? It is a 15. Why it is a 15? So 5 is there and here 10 is there. 5 and 10. Clear? 5 and 10 is there. Global x comma y. Global x comma y is there. Means what here? I am defining x value and the y value as a global. Both value are global values. After that, I am computing the y equal to x plus y. What is x value here? 5 plus 10. The result is 15. That information will be displayed here. If you are using the echo statement or if you are using any printing option there, that information will be displayed here. So next one is a static value or static scope. So what is that particular static scope? So here we are writing one function here. So here in this particular function, what we are doing here, we are defining the static x equal to 0. Static x equal to 0 means what? We are storing that in that particular x value, we are storing that in that particular x variable some value, or we are initializing that particular x with some value that is a 0, and that is a static value. If you are changing that particular static value anywhere in that particular function, that value will be, that is a static value, right? Now what I am doing here, so here with the help of the echo function or with the help of the echo object, I am printing that particular information. After that, I am doing the increment operation. What is that increment operation? Whether it is a pre-increment or post-increment? Yes, it is a post-increment, right? We are increasing the value there. So pre-increment means what? Before your x, if you are using like this, so this is a pre-increment. After your x you are using, right? That is a post-increment, right? After that, what you are doing here, you are calling that particular function here. Directly you are calling that particular function first time. So what is the output here? First time you are calling that particular function. What is the output here? So here the output is 0. So next time you are calling the second function. What is the output here? First time we are incrementing but we are not storing, right? So that's why we are 0. Next time we are executing next time we are incrementing the loop, or next time we are calling that particular function, right? So what is the value now? 1. Next time, third time also we are calling the value. Now what is the value of here? X value 2. Means what here? Means what? Globally that information will change. So first we are calling the first time. So initially that x value is 0. Initially first time we are calling that x value is 0. We are printing that particular information. So next time we are calling. So first time we are calling that particular value and we are incrementing that particular value. First we are printing, after that we are incrementing. First we are printing, after that we are incrementing here. So first we are printing the value, after that we are incrementing the value 0 plus plus. Okay. Now what next time what we are doing? Next time we are calling that particular function. Now what is the x value here? 1. So next time we are calling the second time or third time. Now what is the value here? 2. So here 0 plus plus means what? That is a 1. Now 1 plus plus, or we can say that this is a 0 plus 1 or 1 plus 1. Here 0 plus 1, that is a 1. So here 1 plus 1, that is a 2. So here 2 plus 1, that is a 3. If you call the third time or fourth time, the x value will increase 2 to 3. So here what is the original value here? 3 plus 1 equal to 4. Like that we are doing the increment operation with the help of the static keyword or static scope. Next one is next we'll talk about the string data type. So in our PHP we are using the string data type. So string is nothing but it is sequence of characters like hello world. String is nothing but it is sequence of characters, or you can combine the characters with the numbers. If you can combine the characters with the numbers, or we can say that particular data type is a string data type. So in this particular string data type, we are having the different types of methods are there. First we'll see what is that particular string data type, how it gives the output here. So first what we are doing here is, so first you define one variable here. You define variable $x equal to, you write some string information or you write some character information, that is my hello world. You have to pass this particular information within the quotations only. You have to pass this particular information within the quotations only. Then only it will consider that is as a string data type. Okay, then only we can say that particular data type is a string data type. If you are not passing any quotations there, if you are writing $x equal to 1, it will take as a integer data type. So next, if you are writing $x equal to a, it will give some error. Why? Because a, we don't know what is the data type here. If we are writing in this particular quotation, we can say that that particular a is a string data type or it is a character. Okay, clear? So we are not passing any quotations, right? It will write some error here. It will write some error. If we are having the variable a, if you are having any variable a, before that particular variable a, what symbol we have to use? We have to use a $a. Then only it will consider that particular thing is a variable. Otherwise it will produce some error there. So one thing you have to remember here, if you are declaring or if you are initializing a string data type, you have to pass your information within the quotations only. You have to pass your information inside that quotations. Then only it will consider that form is a string data type. Okay, quotations means you can use a single quotations or you can use a double quotations. You can use any quotations. There is no problem. There is no restrictions for using the quotations. And this is output. This is output for this particular example. Next, we are having the different types of string functions are there. So first we'll see the first string function is the length. Okay, this is a syntax for calculating the length of the string. For calculating the length of the string, we have to use a strlen. We have to use a strlen is for calculating the length of the string. So first we'll see, or this particular function will return the length of the string. So the example is, so you write the echo strlen. After that you open bracket and close bracket. Within that open bracket and close bracket, in quotations you pass your string there. In quotation you pass your string. It will calculate the length of that particular string and it will return that particular output. So what is the length of the string for hello world? The length of the string is 12 characters. We are having total 12 characters and it will return that particular information in our output, or it will return that particular information in a web browser. That is the length of the string. So next one is the counting the words in a string. So for that we are using the str_word_count function we have to use. With the help of this particular string function, what we are doing, we are counting the number of words in that particular string. So example, so str word count, here you have to pass your string there. Here you have to pass your string within the quotations. So here how many words are there? Hello is a one word and world is a second word. How we are saying the hello and word is a two different words? Because here we are having the space, right? With the help of that particular space, we are counting the number of words there. So next one is a string reverse. For printing the string in reverse order, for that we have to use the string reverse, strrev. With the help of this particular strrev, what we are doing here is we are printing the string in a reverse format. So example, strrev, here you have to pass your string here. Here you have to pass your string. So here you have to pass your string, that is a hello world I am passing here. Now you see the output here. So hello world is printing in a reverse order. So this is called the string reverse, or we can say this is for printing the string in a reverse order. Okay, so next session we'll continue all these string functions in detail and we'll see in a practical way.